Hello and welcome back. This is Stevie Bucks Coins and welcome to a pre-decimal coin hunt. I've designated this coin hunt pre-decimal coin hunt 18, and we start off with a largest denomination of the pre-decimal coin hunt that we've got today, which is a half crown or 2 and 6. It's from George VI's reign, as can be seen by the George VI portrait on the front there. On the back we have the typical wasted shield where it goes in at the centre, which is why it's wasted. And this one is from 1949. It has the crown with the intertwined G for George VI underneath it at the wasted area of the crown. The crown has you got two lots of the Lion Passant of England, you have the Rampant Lion of Scotland, and you have the Harp of Ireland on that half crown. You don't have the Welsh because it was thought of as a principality and part of England at the time that the shield was made or came into existence. Right, we have next 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 shillings, or oops, let's get out a little bit, a bit more. We have there 3 2 shilling pieces from Elizabeth II's reign and 1 from George VI. The Queen Elizabeth ones are from 1965, 1965, don't tell me all three, 1960 and 1961. And on the back, on the reverse, you have the different flowers of the nations. In the centre you have the Tudor rose, and on the outside you have the thistle, the leek and the shamrock. George VI's coin is from 1948. You have, and at the centre you have the Tudor rose underneath the crown, and then either side you have the thistle of Scotland and the shamrock of Ireland, and then underneath the thistle on the left here is the letter G for George, and then R for Rex. So those are the 4 coins from the 2 shilling coins. Slight difference dependent upon the monarch. Next, my least favourite coin from the period, and these are threepenny bits. I do not like these castellated threepenny bits that much. The simple reason they're not, to me they're not very, they're only in for 2 reigns, and that was George VI and Elizabeth II, and to be honest they're not a particularly attractive coin in my view. We have one here from 1958 and one from 1960 from the Queen Elizabeth's reign, and the George VI one is from 1938, which is just before the Second World War started. The difference on the back is you have the portcullis, which is an emblem of the House of Commons or Palace of Westminster. It is also the portcullis was also one of the icons used by Henry VIII's mother, Henry VII's mother, as one of the parts of her coat of arms. On the George VI threepenny bit we have the thrift plant. Now I'm not sure what the symbolism is for the thrift plant, I have to be honest, I really don't know, but it's an easy way of telling looking at the rear, whether it's George the Sixth or Elizabeth II. Right, sixpences. That's a 1962 Elizabeth II. A 1961 Elizabeth II. A 1953 Elizabeth II. And a George VI one for 1951. Elizabeth II one has the Flower of the Nations on again. Slightly different. This one though is that each of the four flowers, or each of the floral emblems, all pointing to the centre. So you have the rose, the thistle, the leek and the shamrock. Again, the mintage on these coins were fairly high because of low denomination. The George V one, which is this one, has the crowned monogram of George Rex, George VI, and the date of 1951, and the value of 6p. The two halfpennies are for Elizabeth II and George V, Elizabeth's grandfather. Elizabeth II shows the Golden Hind and has a date of 1967, which is the last year they were minted, and this one is a Britannia from 1934. The Britannias stopped being used towards the end of George V's reign or the beginning of George VI's reign, and were replaced by the Golden Hind. I have two denominations of pre-decimal coins to show you left, and we'll start with the highest value, which was a shilling from Elizabeth II's reign. All three of them are from Elizabeth II's reign. The top one is dated 1956, and it is the English shilling. It has a shield with 3 lions rampant. The second one is a 1960 English shilling showing 3 lions rampant. And the third one is 1955. Slightly different again, only slightly different, but it's also an English shilling showing 3 lions rampant. I was hoping one of them was a Scottish one, but obviously not. Finally, I have 3 pennies. These are fairly old pennies. One is from George V's reign, the second from George V, and the third one is Victoria. The bottom George V coin is from 1914. This one, the legend of 1 penny, is slightly worn, and this back is more worn than the front is, or the reverse is more worn than the obverse. You can see there's no detail at all in the shield, so it is a well worn, well used, circulated 1 penny coin. The second one from George V's reign is from 1921, and again it shows the penny. There's nothing in the background, there's no lighthouse, there's no ship. Again, the highlights have been worn away. Some of the legend around the outer rim is missing. You also have a wear on the shield, which comes from, again, being a well-worn coin and being over 100 years old. And this one is actually a Victorian penny. It comes from the year before her death, which is 1900, so it's right at the beginning of the 20th century. It shows the veiled head portrait, which is the last portrait of Victoria. And on the rear we have Britannia seated. The 1 and penny are quite well seen, and you can see the date quite well, but the Britannia herself is fairly well worn. There's some detail in Britannia and in the dress she's wearing and her headdress, but there's very little. There is some detail in the shield. It's possibly better than the George V coins in a sense of wear. Although it's an older coin, it seems to have weathered that much better now. I don't know whether this was one that's been taken out of circulation for a while, but it's very well patinated, as you can see, so therefore, you know, it could have been well in circulation for the best part of 60 odd years before the decimalisation took place in 1971. This is dated 1900, so it would have been in circulation probably or possibly for 71 years before it was withdrawn. So the fact that it's got any detail on it at all is quite remarkable for a heavily circulated coin. As you can see, I've put the coins back into the bag. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please give me the thumbs up, and could you also think about subscribing if you haven't done already. I am trying to reach 100 subs. I haven't quite got there yet, but I would hope that I could do it in a reasonable time. Having said that, and that will help me, both of those things will help me if you give me the thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't done already. It will help me because I can then get my videos put in front of new people. So what I'll say in ending is, if you're having a hunt, I hope you have a successful one and you find the coins you're looking for. If you bought coins, I hope you bought them for the price that you want to pay. And in the meantime, until we meet up again on this channel, which I hope is not too far into the distant future, from me, ta-da, bye-bye now.